welcome back to my channel. So today for you guys, I have a DIY ladder for under 10 bucks, and this includes everything you need to put together the ladder and paint the ladder. Now, the reason I really wanted to make this ladder is because of this ladder right here. There is not one tutorial on my channel that I get more messages and questions about than my Dollar Tree DIY ladder, because a lot of you guys aren't able to find the rolling pins I used to make that. So I wanted to use something that anybody can get at any store, and that is wood. And wood is very inexpensive. I got my wood from Hobby Lobby. Home Depot, and it cost me $6 with tax for the wood alone. The wood that I used, so all 14 rolling pins I used from Dollar Tree, this cost me $14, and that was just for the rolling pins. This cost me $10 for the stuff I used to attach all the wood together, the paint, and the wood itself. I also used quite a few Dollar Tree products within this ladder to make it very versatile and hold more than just laying things across each step. I also just really wanted to make another ladder to match more so the home decor that I have right now. This one is a little too dark now. I'm not going to get rid of it, but I wanted something lighter to go inside of the front room that matched everything better. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If I don't do just Dollar Tree exclusive DIY, sometimes I do feel bad, so let me know if you still want to see things that aren't always just Dollar Tree, but they're still on the less expensive side. Anywho, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not, and click the bell button so you're notified every single time that I upload. Now let's begin the DIY that is really easy.
Let's start with the most important part, the ladder. So from Home Depot, I picked up these 1x2 8-foot common boards. I purchased 2 of them. They were $2.78 each. So for both pieces of wood, including tax, it cost me around $6. Now you can have them cut down the wood for you at Home Depot, or if you get it from Lowe's at Lowe's. We have a circular saw, so I've had Matt cut it down for me. The measurements are super easy. The longer sides of the ladder, you want 2 5-foot pieces, and then for every step of the ladder, I did a 1-foot piece. You can always change that around, but if you want the size I made, 2 5-foot pieces and then 5 1-foot pieces. So again, if you do not own a saw, you don't feel like cutting the wood yourself, you can always go to a hardwood store like Home Depot or Lowe's, Menards. They cut it for you there. Actually, I don't know if Menards does it, but I feel like they have to. Anyways, to attach all the wood together, I am going to be using wood glue. You can use nails, you can use screws. I'm using wood glue. I'm not doing anything crazy. This is a decorative ladder. Wood glue is going to hold it all in place. The wood glue I'm using is from Gorilla Glue. You can get a bottle for $2.97 at Walmart. Before I attach all the wood together, I kind of place it in the spots that I want it to be. I had a wreath I knew I wanted to use, so I used that wreath as a guide to figure out how far apart I wanted each of my steps to be. So if you plan on using a wreath and you have a different size wreath, you can go ahead, take a wreath and use that as a guide for how far you want each step ladder piece to be. When buying inexpensive wood, sometimes you run the risk that it could be warped a little bit. So if you run into pieces that aren't lining up the way you want them, just take heavy things and use it on the sides to kind of just push it inward. You could probably use a clamp on top of that, but I just used honestly a cookie jar and a little box that I had, and I used it to push in spots that I needed to be pushed in. To paint this, I'm using Apple Barrel paint in white and bird gray. I got them from Walmart for 59 cents each. Now what I did is I mixed those colors inside of a cup of water to really water down the color so it would apply as a stain to my ladder. Now there was a point where it was kind of too light, the stain, and I needed to make it a little bit more opaque, so I just used less water. But I did always use water just so it didn't look too like acrylic painty, I guess, if that makes sense. I didn't want it to look like I just straight up used acrylic paint on this. And that's how you make a decorative ladder for 10 bucks, and that includes everything you're going to need down to the wood glue and paint. Of course, you can add things to this like nails and screws. It'll cost you a little bit more money, or maybe it won't, because you might have some of these things on hand and you might end up saving money. So you might have wood glue on hand and it'll cost you even less. Now, I'm going to show you how I decorated this thing, and a lot of the products I used to do this are from Dollar Tree. Let's start with the first step of the step ladder. I am going to be taking a nail. This pack of nails are from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be hanging this boxwood preserved wreath that is from Target. You get it there for 20 bucks. It is my favorite wreath ever, just because Obviously, it looks realistic because it is real, and I just really love the color of it. So what I do is I take my nail, figure out where I want that wreath to be placed, and then I hammer the nail into the wood. And after it's nailed in, I go ahead, place the wreath on top of it, and the wreath is good to go. I wanted to add things to this step ladder you don't normally see in decorative step ladders, so I'm going to be adding, it's a tool rack. It's from Dollar Tree, but honestly, it's just a bunch of hooks. It doesn't have to be for tools. So I'm going to be adding that to my ladder. This does come with screws. There are 2 screws. So what I did is I took a regular screwdriver and I screwed those screws into the wood, and it was the perfect size. It's not like it goes through the wood entirely and it's just kind of peeking out through the back. And I did it all by hand. If you have a drill bit and then a drill to get the screws in, more power to you. But all I did is I took that screwdriver and I kept pushing on top of the screws until they went through the wood, and then I just twisted all in. If you do it the way I did, of course you're gonna have some wobbling at first to the screws until you get a little hole, and then eventually it'll go straight through. You can always take a nail and a hammer, create a hole, and have a much easier time trying to use a regular screwdriver to get the screws in, but it really isn't hard at all because it just goes through this type of wood real easily. And then there you go, I have a little hook rack, and what I did is I just placed some of my Rae Dunn mugs on top of that. The next thing I'm doing is I'm taking this white basket from Dollar Tree and some zip ties. These aren't the zip ties I use, they're just the zip ties I'm showing you, but they were too small, so I had to get the bigger ones from Dollar Tree. And what you do is you just loop the zip ties through the bottom of the basket, and then you tie that around one of the steps on the step ladder, and then there you go. You have a basket that isn't going anywhere. In this basket, I placed some of this IKEA greenery inside of there. I decided to add a smaller, thinner basket below the hooks. So there's this 3-pack of white baskets you can get from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to be using one of them. And to attach that to the step ladder that is below the hooks, I'm going to be using E6000 glue. You could use zip ties if you wanted. You can even get the smaller wire baskets that are like this and use zip ties. I decided to use glue though because I didn't want the zip ties to be showing there. You would be able to see it on the little piece of wood that makes up that step. At the very bottom where I used the zip ties, you don't see it as clearly because the basket is bigger there and it's closer to the bottom versus this part, which is more in like eye view. So I just didn't want to do it that way. I just decided to use glue. And now I have another little piece to add whatever I want to it, whether it be more Rae Dunn things or some floral. Now I'm going to be adding this towel rack that is from Dollar Tree. You're going to find it in the kitchen area. It usually goes over a cabinet, but I'm going to be using that to hold a piece of fabric so it can kind of look like I have a throw blanket on there. The reason I had to add this is because I placed that basket there with zip ties. I won't be able to lay anything under it anymore. So I'm using that kitchen towel holder to place this little rug. It's a little throw rug that I got from Dollar Tree. I just fold it up and then I place it over the little kitchen towel holder. Of course, you can place whatever you want on top of there. You don't have to add a big basket like I did and just place a throw blanket directly over a step, or you can place the basket even higher. You know, it's totally up to you, but that's the way I got around being able to still hang something there with that basket being in the way. So that's how I created this decorative ladder for $10. It was less money than it cost me to make the Dollar Tree ladder, and that's why I really wanted to do it, to show you guys, you know, Dollar Tree isn't always going to be the best bang for your buck. It's really nice to go to Dollar Tree and, you know, come up with an idea to create a ladder and it looks really nice, but there are other options out there. And I wanted to make sure I made this one a bit different by adding the hooks and the baskets to also show you guys different ways of decorating your ladder and different ways of using it for storage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.